friends, welcome to our Vegetable Kingdom series. Today I am going to be showing you how to make some garnishes using radishes. We'll make a radish accordion, a radish rose, and a radish pom-pom. For the radish accordion, you want a radish that is longer than fatter. And for your pom-pom, you want a radish that is just kind of like a big ball. And for the rose, I'm using a little bit smaller of one. It doesn't really matter if you use smaller or larger, just so long as it's kind of more round than long, like the accordion size. And another key feature for making your garnishes, any garnish really, is a very thin blade of a knife. See how thin and flexible that blade is? Very thin. So we're going to start by cutting the end off of the radish and the tail. We don't really need that. If you want to leave it on for the radish rose, that would be fine. But for the accordion, we're all set. And we're just going to make thin slices all the way down, but not through the radish. So maybe about to here or so. So there's an 1/8 of an inch or so left to hold all of the slices together. And let's see if I can slice this way so you can see better. Okay, so we're just going to slice, make a really thin slice down, but not all the way through. So probably something like that. Can you see? It's a little bit farther down on one side than the other, but there's a fair amount left still holding the radish together. And we're just going to keep making these slices all the way through to the other end of the radish. Okay, so that radish is done. You can see all the slices there, and I'm happy enough with it. Some are a little thicker than others, but for the most part. Now, it doesn't look very impressive now, but what we're going to do is we're going to set it in a bowl of ice water, and this will allow the radish to kind of open up and give us a really beautiful look. So now we will do the radish pom-pom. We'll cut the ends off of this one as well, and you want it to be able to sit flat so that you can work it. So there, that's enough shaved off the bottom so that it will sit flat. And we're going to slice this down, very similar to how we did the thin slices for the accordion, but we're just going to go from the white end to the top of the white to the bottom of the white, from one end to the other. And we're just going to slice thin like so. Not all the way through, just like the radish accordion. Okay, these are all sliced now. Oops, I almost ripped the end right off there. And that happens sometimes. Sometimes you do rip something off. I've cut them off. But you just keep going and work through it. Okay, now we're going to take the radish and turn it just a quarter of a turn. Okay, and now we're going to do the very same thing going across this way. just like we sliced the others. Oops, see, I cut all the way through, but see how they're, they would have been little petals, I guess. Whoops, I'm making a mess of this radish. See, anybody can do this. So we're just gonna take and cut down through. You wanna make it wide enough so they don't fall apart, but don't cut all the way through either. But not too thick, because they don't open as nicely if they're really thick cuts. Okay, so this one is done now too. You can see we've cut this way, we turned it a quarter turn and cut that way. So we have like little, just little stem, little frills, just how it'll spray open like a pom-pom. And just like the accordion, and you can see I'm losing a bunch of pieces here. Just like the accordion, we're going to set this in our ice water so that it can open up. It'll spray open beautifully. Now for our last radish, I'm going to cut the top off and make a rose. The stem would be beautiful. It has a lovely tail. If you don't need your rose to stand up, if you whatever the purpose is you're using it for, if it's something that could lay on its side well, then you certainly could leave the tail. I'm going to cut the tail off just because I want it to stand up for my purposes. And so we're just going to use kind of the middle of the knife here, and we're going to cut in at an angle on the radish and go across like so and down to form like a petal. So we'll go down. So see, I've got kind of a half circle here, and I'm just going to wiggle the knife through and down to the bottom, but not all the way through. Okay, see how that's almost down, but not all the way through there. And I'm going to turn a quarter of a turn, and I'm going to do the same here. Oops. See that? And okay, and another quarter turn and make another petal. And finally another quarter turn and you've got the last one. And depending on how big you made your petals, you may not be left with much room. It does take practice, and it is nicer to use a larger radish sometimes, so you do have plenty to work with. And just like the other radishes, we're going to pop this into the ice bath and it will open these up as well. So I'm going to put these in the fridge and let them sit, and I'll take them out and let you see what they look like when they're open. But I'm going to flip the camera around and let you see what they look like now before they open. Okay? So the radishes have sat in the cold water in the fridge for a few hours, and I've taken them out, and you can see that some of them have opened pretty well. I would say the reason that this one has not opened as much as it could have, my slices were a little thick. So the thinner you open your slices, the thinner you make your slices, the more open of a garnish you're going to get, because it's not, there's very little surface and they just really spread. When you cut thick, it just, but it still looks quite lovely. And then we have the rose that opened up fine. That's usually not the problem because you're just doing the petals. It's when you've got so many slices. And the same with my accordion. It did not spread out as much as it should have, and that's because my slices were very thick. I guess it's just very difficult to talk and work at the same time. So my finished product is not as good as it could have been. But that said, it's not terrible. I will certainly use them. They're perfect to accent a vegetable platter. You could, even if you were doing a sandwich platter for like a baby shower or a bridal shower, they're nice to just stick on there to dress it up a little bit. A potato salad or a pasta salad, you could put a little greenery down and then put your radish pom-pom or whatever you're using. My favorite is the pom-pom. I don't know why. It's just the one that I like the most. I just think that it's visually pleasing. The others are fine, but that one is my favorite. And if you want, if you're just messing around with them to try and you have some that don't come out quite right, throw them in your tossed salad or a pasta salad. Don't waste them. They're perfect to go ahead and eat. And if you haven't tried roasted radishes, I suggest trying that as well. So thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you with another Vegetable Kingdom video. Have a great day.